Now, a nursing mother has been confirmed dead after military personnel allegedly fired live ammunition on mourners Saturday morning at Manso Datano in Amansia South district of the Ashanti region. The deceased, Felicia Dankwa, and a child were reportedly hit by a stray bullet when one of 4 soldiers attacked residents who were observing the interment of a colleague who died after falling into an illegal mining pit 3 months ago. According to the assembly member for the area, Kwame Amponsa, the military officer, who is yet to be identified, chased after the mourners and physically assaulted an onlooker. He proceeded to fire shot into the air to scatter the resident, but an accidental shot into the ground deflected and hit the nursing mother and a baby. The 30-year-old mother is said to have died Sunday evening at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital after sustaining injury to her stomach, while her baby, who was tied to her back, got shot in the palm. The deceased was an operator of a pub in the community established by her husband. It is unclear what may have instigated the incident. There is, however, uneasy calm in the community as the aggrieved youth demand the withdrawal of the military deployment to the area. Here's an eyewitness account.
A distance to baby a crowd on one. From a see from I didn't know what came upon him. I said, why is so serious to the sense?
A distance to where the crowd was, the military officers got off their vehicle. I don't know what came over one of them. He became so furious and began attacking the mourners who were at the cemetery. The officer chased them as they ran helter-skelter and caught one of the bystanders and beat him up. The boys confronted him on why he attacked the innocent man, but he took out his cane and whipped them. When the cane broke, he brought out his gun and fired shots in the air severally. As he tried taking an item from his pocket on the 5th shot, it hit the ground and deflected, hitting the woman and her baby.
Now, Love News understands leadership from the Ashanti Regional Police Headquarters have since visited the bereaved family to assure perpetrators will be brought to book. My colleague Emmanuel Bright-Quick, who joins us live with more. Emmanuel, what more can you tell us?
All right, so currently we are on our way to the location which is in Amansia South municipality of the Ashanti. We understand the ECE is also going there to speak with the bereaved family, and then even the district security forces over there are also going along with the ECE to ascertain the truth in this particular matter. So currently, that is what is happening. And as the assembly member said, they understand that the military officers, the mourners were actually at the cemetery when the military officers were using the road close to where the cemetery was, and in the heat of the moment, I think there was kind of a conversation between the two sides. So, unfortunately, one of the military men got so furious and began attacking the residents, the youth over there. So that is the situation on ground. As we speak, we are on our way, and then we have to take more and keep it happen.
But we understand the identity of the military officer is still not has still not been reviewed. What do we know so far on it?
So far, we've not had any name yet. Any name has not been brought out yet. Who actually is this military officer? So as we go there, we find more, and then find out who this military officer was.
We understand there's still uneasy calm in the community. Do we know whether the police have deployed personnel there to ensure that things are calm?
As we speak yesterday, the leadership of the Ashanti Regional Police Headquarters and even they met the bereaved family and the assembly member for the area. So they went there to calm the family. Actually, they assured them that the perpetrator will be brought to book. But as we speak, we do not know yet whether there's police deployment to this particular area. So when we get there, they will find out whether there are any police around, ensuring that there's no confrontation between the two sides.
Is this an area, because we understand this is also related to illegal mining of a sort, is this area one of those illegal mining hubs in the region?
Mansour Kano, as we know, is one of the illegal mining hubs in the country. The area is known widely for illegal mining. So from the assembly member we spoke with, he said the person they were actually mourning fell inside an illegal mining pit. We do not know what actually caused him to fall inside the pit, but it's one of the illegal mining pits that we fell. So from this, it's an indication that this particular community is also into illegal mining, as reported in other areas.
All right, I'm grateful, Emmanuel, for those updates. So that's my colleague, Emmanuel Bright Kweku, joining us from that community. More will be brought on our subsequent bulletins. But moving on to other stories now. Potholes and surface defect on roads are a big problem in this country. Not only do they look unsightly, but they also pose a real safety hazard to road users. Whilst in other jurisdictions, road users get compensated for the impact of potholes on their vehicles, Ghanaians suffer the harsh realities of potholes in pain. I've been spending some time on the Tema motorway to monitor how potholes are making the road a death trap for users. Here's what my camera captured.
Currently, as I said, it's about 60 years. It's about 60 years. So the moment the lifespan reaches or elapses, this development will come. So what we are doing is, let's tackle the most serious one first. Our mobile maintenance units are on standby for the potholes. So that one will be done immediately after we have finished this one.
A roads engineer with the Ghana Highway Authority given assurances potholes on the motorway will be patched immediately after repair works on the Laklapa Bridge were completed. It's been over 3 months, and the potholes are now becoming increasingly problematic for road users. Robert has been driving on this highway for the past 10 years.
Very bad. Potholes ready is serious, especially side bridge in the way China, there be a bridge near. The whole potholes ready. The same comes from other feeling, but very bad. Motorway in there, and what I'm sure is serious. And then I check. We start to use car for motorways. We don't have any car for more than 10 years. So they're tear and a tear. They're patchy still. They're tear and a tear. So motorway there. Best thing is that I'm paying for bedroom on by and for flat because we own concrete and the iron rods. It's why we do the coach up, Miss Concrete in the iron rods. A baby, I am so much patch. We say I start paying up because I don't need concrete. Now the coach up the flat. At
the Manette Junction motorway taxi rank, I come across Seth, a driver. He describes driving on the motorway as hell.
From Timaran about coming to Shashi, potholes are there, more is uncountable. When you reach, before you reach Abattoir Bridge, there is a bridge there. That is no more potholes because two sides or whether here or here is two lane. Any driver reach there, you have to slow down before you can pass and continue your journey. And when you are coming to most and on the way before you get to the roundabout. And for county there is uncountable, honestly. And some they patch some raise when it will throw you. Some to they patch it, but it's going down. So it's no more. And the road said it's no more. The first as motor is it's no more motorway now. It become normal road now. It is no more motorway. There's a traffic 24 hours all the time. When you get to the motorway, it is only midnight that you can pass motorway. You will go safely, but daytime you will not what you want you get, rather what is on the way. That's how you also go about it.
Fiavo is also a taxi driver here. He wants government to take action.
Even from here we are right now, here we are right now. Recently, some has occurred. Just from Tema roundabout coming to Abattoir, that area. There's a lot of accidents that happen over there due to potholes. As you know, motorway is a highway. In fact, now it has become a normal road for us. So if they want to maintain the motorway as a highway, then they should at least we need extension and to solve the potholes on the motorway.
It is safe to say that potholes are a big concern for road users. The longer we wait, the more accident and death are recorded on this motorway. For JoyNews, Samuel Kojo Brace, Motorway. Now, over the years, government officials have promised of either government undertaking rehabilitation works on the motorway or a new construction of the road. Now, let's bring you some of the promises government has been giving out about this motorway. Now, we're trying to track these promises. Amidu Amin Suleiman, as former roads minister, he said that we will try to patch all those things we do, but you would realize that the kind of patching we're doing is not on concrete surface. So we do it and it doesn't last. We had to do an engineering studies on the road and see if possible what it will cost. In the public-private partnership, there are a lot of things that studies that you must do. Everything must be done through the normal laws of Ghana. It has to go through Parliament for parliamentary approval. Even for whatever that will go on, we must be approved by Parliament. So it has a long process to go through. That's what the former roads minister said there. The current finance minister, Ken Ofriato, also said under the Ministry of Roads and Highways public-private partnership program for road infrastructure, the design, build, finance, operate and maintain the Accra Tema Motorway and Extension PPP project, 27.7 kilometer project, is at the procurement stage. Site works are expected to commence in September 2022. So that's what the finance minister said. Now, Kojo Frimpong, who is government spokesperson on infrastructure, on October 2021 said, we are now arranging the funds that will come with it so that we can send it to Parliament for approval before it starts. As we speak, we expect that by December 2021, we should be on site beginning the motorway. So that's what government spokesperson on infrastructure said. Now, current roads minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, also said, and I quote, I want Ghanaians to know that this entire motorway stretch from Tema to Tetekwashi in Accra, measuring about 19.5 kilometers, is going to be rehabilitated, and we are the concluding part of the discussion. So maximum by August, we are going to cut short for the work to start. The contractor has already been selected. That's what he said in June 2022, promising that by August, then the sword will be cut. Now, another quote from him, any moment from now, because we are at the concluding end of it, and we are going to turn the motorway into 6 lane, we are going to have almost 4 interchanges on it. And if you add other service lanes and slip lanes, some areas will go, up to 10 lanes. Both sides. It's a major work, and it's going to see the reconstruction of the Tetekwashi interchange. It's going to be remodeled as part of the project to take off the current traffic congestion there, and it will continue at Fiesta Royale. We're going to have an interchange there as well, a 3-tier interchange. When we get to the bridge, we will cross it, he said. Arrangements are well on hand, and when we cut the sword, the day of cutting the sword to start work, all these information will be given. That's what the roads minister said. And this is what he told us in July 2022. Now, we can hear from the minister in June when he promised works on the expansion of the motorway will begin this year. He spoke at the reconstruction of the Black Bridge on the motorway in June this year.
Needs urgent attention.
Yeah, well, the motorway itself will soon be undergoing reconstruction. No, any moment from now, because we are at we are at the concluding ends of it, and we are going to turn the motorway into 6 lane. In fact, from Accra to from the Tema roundabout to Accra, Tetekwashi interchange. That's the first phase. No, in fact, the project itself, if I have to apprise you, is code name Accra Tema Motorway Project. Okay, but it's just the project name, the technical name. It doesn't mean that the work is limited to only Accra Tema, the 19.5 kilometers of the road. Okay, so that is just the project name. Because if you want to know the full stretch of it, it starts from the motorway roundabout to Tetekwashi, and then Tetekwashi to Apenkwa Bridge, and then Apenkwa Bridge, to New Plan. Okay, and it's a major work even between Tema roundabout and Tetekwashi interchange, and the 19.5 kilometers. We are going to have almost 4 interchanges on it, and we are going to turn it, the main drive line to 6 lanes, and if you add other service lanes and slip roads, some areas will go, up to 10 lanes, both sides. So it's a major work, and it is going to see the reconstruction of the Tetekwashi interchange. It's going to be remodeled as part of the project, to take off the current, traffic congestion there, and it will continue at Fiesta Royal. Fiesta Royal, we are going to have an interchange there, a 3-tier interchange.
Seems like a lot.
Yes, it's a lot. No, I mean,
for several years.
Let me tell you, a distance of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and I've told you we have lotted the stretch into three lots. One lot is the motorway road itself, okay, including the remodeling of the Tetekwashi interchange, as aforesaid. And then the second one will be from Tetekwashi to Apenkwa as the second lot, including the interchange at Fiesta Royal, and we are also going to remodel Apenkwa. And then the third one will be from Apenkwa to New Plan, and we are starting, this year.
So these are details that Roads Minister gave us in June of this year. Now let's hear from the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte, who also gave assurances of the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the motorway.
We will go back from here to be guided by the experts to tell us which area, the distance they want between the transition and the core. If they want to create a new core, that will be up to them. But certainly I can say that some houses will go down to make way for a new core. I've heard some people saying that, we are coming to regularize. Let me make it clear. Regularization is a decision and discretion of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. We are members of RECSEC. Our duty is to make sure that we protect the land, and whatever Lands Commission wants to do or Lands wants to do, we don't have control over that one. But as far as we are concerned, we want to save Mother Ghana by making sure that from August, when government spends so much money to expand the motorway into 10 lanes, you don't wake up in the morning and it's flooded and they'll say, oh, government. So you see what is happening? We do the things, and then when we finish, we come to media and say, Abainu enye jumakra. But we are all seeing it. So those who will go to the air and start talking and get the lawyers to write big English, please avert your minds to the fact that this is still a government-acquired land. Please. So lawyers, when you are writing, just know that you are encouraging illegality.
So that's the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte there. But let's still stay on the motorway. Just this morning, an accident has occurred there, and due to the nature of the road, an STC bus, which is on your screen now, was involved in an accident on the Tema motorway. Now, let's still bringing ranking on the Roads and Highways Committee of Parliament, Kwame Agboja, who is joining us on phone. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Now, we've been giving several assurances that the motorway will be looked at. There will be construction works on that road, but till today, nothing is happening. What do you know as a committee member? What has come to you that we don't know?
Well, I have no doubt that, first of all, good morning to you and your business and viewers. I have no doubt that there has been effort to reconstruct the motorway. The current problem is that if you look at the government capital expenditure part of the budget, we are spending too little on maintenance of our existing roads. The motorway is not entirely bad. In fact, it's still one of the best roads we have in the country. But I acknowledge the fact that sections are very, very bad and dangerous that needed to be rectified. So what we should be doing, first of all, even before, because even if you start the construction of the motorway, you're not going to touch the main carriageway currently. You're going to have to build the access roads and other things, the flyovers, before you touch the main carriageway. So it is very important for us to ensure that we spend some money to remedy the defective part for motorists to have some safety on the road before we continue thinking about the reconstruction. I don't think it's feasible to say that because we get coming to reconstruct the motorway, we can leave the current state the way it is currently. It is just not right, because maintenance, routine maintenance and periodic maintenance are all part of the components of activities at the roads and highways.
So hasn't the ministry presented to your committee plans to rehabilitate the road?
Well, there's always an allocation for maintenance, but when you at the end of the financial year, when you look at the outset, it appears that money is never spent on maintenance. They focus too much on development. Development means you want to build new roads, and while we have existing roads that are not well maintained. There's also the issue about the government's program to reconstruct the motorway. You have heard me on several occasions questioning the so-called contract between government and Kojo. I have no doubt that that contract is no longer valid. And now that we have difficulty accessing loans from abroad, I think government should begin to look internally to see if we can put together a group of people, contractors, suppliers, and others, and see if we can give them a terms that are favorable. So we can attempt to build the motorway by ourselves. I have every confidence that the Ghanaian contractors will be able to build this motorway. I have no doubt about that. The kind of deal we give them, how would we pay for it? You know my view about this. I think build it slowly and take the money. I have no doubt about it, and I think it's the right thing. And maybe other sources of funding for it. But currently, let's see what the 2023 budget will come up with.
So it means that you are preaching for a PPP arrangement on this, right?
Yes, a PPP arrangement will not be bad. So long as it's viable and it's inures to the benefits of the people of this country, I will support it. In fact, I've never been against it. I just said that at $570 million, the details of that contract and the capability of what Motor Angels was coming to do, I questioned the legality of that at Article 181.5, and then I also said Motor Angels have what it takes to raise the money to do it. So if we are going to find our own money, I would surely go back and engage the Ghanaian contractors. The top 5, top 10 Ghanaian contractors are more than capable of doing the job if we find the money.
Okay. Now, is the $570 million the cost will incur to reconstruct the motorway? Is that it?
According to the contract with Motor Angels, that's what they are saying, and I think it's overpriced.
Okay.
I said it's overpriced because of the minutes I saw from the negotiation team, from the relevant agency. They themselves suggested that the price of 570 put forward by Motor Angels is 39% more expensive.
But if they set aside monies to be spent on rehabilitation and they don't spend it on it, why aren't you as a committee questioning the roads minister why that is not done?
It is not his fault. The point is that, as you know, if they read the budget on Thursday, you will notice that we have been doing very academic work in terms of our budget. So they allocate, let's say, 2 billion to the ministry, of which maybe 600 million is for rehabilitation. But at the end of the budget year, they release, let's say, $150 million to them. So it is not the fault of the road minister why activities were not carried out. It is simply because the finance ministry did not give them the releases to be able to do the procurement. So you can query the road minister, and I've always said he's probably the most diligent in terms of responding to questions posed by members of parliament. But he's the one who is most unlikely to do much about the road because he hasn't got the resources.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful, Kwame Agboja, for joining us. He is ranking on the Roads and Highways Committee of Parliament. Moving on to other stories. Government's decision to explore the possibility of selling the Saglemi housing project covering 1,506 housing units to a private developer has generated mixed reactions. Works and Housing Minister Francis Asensio-Boakye, who announced this move, explains government has already expended approximately $196 million on the project and does not intend to spend additional taxpayers' money towards its completion. He says the state would thus be leveraging its equity in the form of the land and asset on the project site to ensure the completion of the unit by a private developer. Mr. Asensio-Boakye says proceeds from the sale will be reinvested by the state into other affordable housing projects. Today, minority members on the Works and Housing Committee in Parliament are on the site to see things for themselves. My colleague Kweku Asante is there for JoyNews and joins us live. Kweku, what can you report from the site? Kojo, if you can hear me, what can you tell us from where you are?
So the facility is completely abandoned. There are just about 3 or 4 policemen who are on site to protect the facility. Indeed, we've been touring parts of the building. Doors have been stolen. Electrical materials in the building have been stolen. It has become like a totally abandoned place that has been taken over by rodents and animals. In one of the buildings, I saw a bird nesting in there. A lot of the fittings that have been made to the facility have now been stolen. The windows, the glasses, the doors, all have been stolen, particularly the electrical materials as well. So Vincent Opon Samoa is ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee. Is currently addressing the media about what they want government to do about this. We know that government has plans for privatizing this. I want us to listen in to Vincent Opon Samoa briefly, then I'll come back to you.
Anywhere by the government of Ghana. So the minority in Parliament, we are stating our position clear that we wouldn't want any private developer to come in at all. In 2015, we are very, very optimistic that NDC will form the next government in 2025. So any private developer that will partner the government to complete this project, the project will be taken away from you because it should remain affordable, and the mortgage system, as you go to workers of Ghana, I know the military and other government agents, even Parliament, I tell you, members of Parliament will be very, very happy to live around this state. The environment is so serene. So we came around for you to know that this government has neglected. It caused so much financial loss to the state, to the people of Ghana, because we are taking shots of what has happened here as to whether it was even organized by the government, so that once we see the level of deterioration, that will give them the energy and the confidence to tell Ghanaians that the project is failed, so that they can start.
So, Brace, you've been listening to the ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee, who says that the NDC minority in Parliament are completely against government plans to privatize the Saglemi building project. They say that they are hopeful that the NDC will be the party to form government in 2025. And any private developer that plans to come together with government to privatize this facility will have their investment in serious risk. They are completely against this privatization. They think government should be able to complete this project and give it up to many Ghanaians who are homeless or who just desire affordable housing. They say that government's continual description of this facility as a failed project is to give them the impetus to just sell the project off to a private developer, and also because this project was started by an NDC government, they are not interested in fixing it. So you just said there from Vincent Opon Samoa, the NDC completely against privatization. They say that government should be able to complete this. If not, in 2025, a future NDC government will fix this project, Brace.
For us, and we'll bring you more update on our subsequent bulletins. But technical teachers boycotted class to demand immediate implementation of IGF-related conditions of service and review of fuel allowances. We will not be shortchanged. What is rightly ours, we will have to get it. Words of Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, to government as they demand immediate implementation of their conditions of service and a review of fuel and car maintenance allowances. Teachers in various technical universities across the country today boycotted class after a strike declaration on Friday. In an interview with Love News, President of TUTAG, Professor Collins Amayao, says the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has failed to expedite processes to approve the negotiated internally generated funds related conditions of service to be included in the 2023 budget. We'll bring you details of that story in our subsequent bulletins. But West Africa Network for Peace Building is raising concerns over the growing youth unemployment situation in West African region, including Ghana. Since COVID-19, more young people have been found without work in the region. According to the group, the deteriorating youth employment situation poses further threat to the peace and stability of the region. For that reason, it has commenced a training program that will equip some selected youth with entrepreneurial skills in agriculture. There is more in the following report.
In West Africa, nearly 70% of the population falls within the youth bracket, many of whom are without jobs. According to the West African Network for Peace Building, the number of young people without jobs is a worry, as it poses further threat to the peace and stability of the West African region. Vincent Azuma explains why.
This is one creative process that WANEP is using to gather the youth across West Africa to ensure that we don't have the youth involving themselves in only negative or negativities, so that we can build the capacity and get the youth prepared for the next game changer. You can call it a game changer, but this is just one of the creative ways that WANEP is using to harness the potential of the youth and take them away from the negativities that we've seen across the region so far.
In an interview with JoyNews, Josiane Sombo, Youth and Peace Education Program Officer, explained that the initiative targets 30 youths across West Africa.
My team program is an annual youth empowerment program. Through the program, we are targeting about 30 young people across West Africa, people who are engaged or committed to peace and security issues in their communities. So every year we're looking at about 30 of them, and we have just launched the call for application. So this is the opportunity to call on all young people who meet the criteria to apply and give themselves another chance to build their capacity and their skills for conflict prevention and sustainable development in our region.
The group is hopeful to lessen unemployment among the youth in the near future. Prince Osu Ansah's report, read to you.
Now back to the TUTAG story, where they say we will not be shortchanged. What is rightly theirs, they would have to get it. Now, those are the words of Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, to government as they demand immediate implementation of their conditions of service and a review of fuel and car maintenance allowances for their members. Teachers in various technical universities across the country Monday boycotted class after a strike declaration on Friday. In an interview with Love News, President of TUTAG, Professor Collins Amayao, says the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has failed to expedite processes to approve the negotiated internally generated funds related conditions of service to be included in the 2023 budget.
10 days ago, leadership of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana served notice to lay down their tools after the government's failure to honor its codified conditions of service, which have been outstanding since 2016. However, according to the association, government has turned a deaf ear to its demands, despite the 10-day ultimatum. The association says the Ministry of Finance and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is failing to heed to directives by the National Labour Commission to approve documents to ensure payment of internally generated funds. Professor Collins Amayao is National President of TUTAG.
The condition of service has two legs. One is payroll related, which is paid by government, and one is IGF, paid internally by the various universities. Because of the delay, the issue had to go to the National Labour Commission, which is just like a high court. And the National Labour Commission ruled that government should take the necessary steps to approve the document to ensure that those that have financial implications are captured in the budget. Okay, as we speak, most of the institutions have finished preparing their budget. So when will the approval come, and when will it be captured in the budget? And you agree with me that if an item is not captured in the budget, there's no way payment can be effected.
Professor Amayao says the delay in the 2023 budget reading gives the state agencies ample time to expedite processes for the approval of the documents for consideration in the budget.
They should take the necessary steps to have it approved before budgets are prepared, okay, to ensure that payment can start in January 2023. But it's been dragging. We don't know the motivation. And luckily for us, the budget has not been read. But in the normal scheme of things, budget should have been read around 15th of November. You understand? So, fortunately for us, we still have some time. So we think that this is the time to push to ensure that we get approval for it to be captured in the budget.
The industrial action is also cemented by the government's refusal to engage the association on review of their off-campus and car maintenance allowances.
Early this year, the government side wrote to us that henceforth the well-known formula that is used to compute off-campus and car maintenance allowance will no longer apply. Henceforth, it's going to be absolute. So we wrote to GTED and the government that that action, that letter, should be withdrawn because we will not agree. And we have not been engaged on this issue. Government has refused to engage us on this issue.
So unlike the other technical universities, including Ho Technical University, Sunyani and Takrady Technical Universities, who are currently having some students in class or an academic activity ongoing on their campuses, when you come here at the Kumasi Technical University, there is no such thing. That is because the school is currently on a vacation. So students are not around as of now. However, President of TUTAC, Professor Collins Amayao, warns that if this issue is not resolved immediately, the students could reel under the impact of this industrial action.
For Kumasi, I think the plan is to resume next month, 5th December. Okay, so reopening is closed, and the other universities, as I've said, others are already in session. So our hope is that the issues are addressed timely to ensure that academic calendar will not be disrupted. But if government drag her feet to the point that all the universities resume, then we cannot be believed. We will not be shortchanged. Okay, we will not be shortchanged. What is rightly ours, we'll have to get it.
Teachers at the 10 technical universities in the country anticipate an immediate response and implementation of their demands from the government before they rescind their decision. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
You're also watching the news desk here on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Stay with us.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Ahead of the 2023 budget presentation on Thursday, the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is proposing radical tax revenue mobilization that will shore up the country's tax in relation to the size of the economy to 15 or 16%. According to the Institute, the government should refrain from introducing new taxes, rather address the loopholes and inefficiencies within the tax system. Here's more in this report.
Even before the budget is read on Thursday, the Institute of Economic Affairs is making some proposals that will help narrow the large fiscal deficit. Director of Research Dr. John Kojo has been addressing the media at a pre-budget presentation.
Well, so the 2023 budget must break from this, what we call unacceptable past. We believe that we should be able to increase our tax revenue to GDP ratio to at least 15 to 16% in this budget, 2023, and then also to 18 to 20% in 2024. Now, in the recent speech by the President to the nation, he gave some targets, revenue targets. He was talking about reaching this target that we're talking about, 18 to 20% for our total revenue as a ratio of GDP.
For recurrent and capital expenditure, it pointed out that the expenditure has been heavily skewed in favor of the former and against the latter. This, it explained, constitutes wrong prioritization of expenditure and is inimical to growth.
Now, expenditure has been heavily skewed in favor of recurrent expenditure, what some people like to call consumption expenditure, okay? And then against capital expenditure, which you need to for growth, okay? This is a wrong prioritization of expenditure. In fact, if I use the 2022 budget as an example, recurrent expenditure accounts for almost 90% of the total. Recurrent. And then capital accounts for just 10%. What kind of priorities is that? And then I'll go down and break down the recurrent expenditure, where it is going to, and then you will see whether those are priorities. Now, recurrent expenditure is dominated by, of course, there's interest payments that you can't avoid, because you have borrowed so much that, you have to spend a lot of your revenue servicing the debt, paying for interest.
The IEA believes the 2023 economic policy will be a make or break budget.
Bilateral trade between Italy and Ghana yielded about 500 million euros last year. That's according to the Italian ambassador to Ghana, Daniela Dolandi. According to her, this was as a result of a fruitful relationship between the two countries in their long-standing economic cooperation and shared values. Addressing the media at the 7th Italian Cuisine Week organized at her residence in Accra, she was optimistic that with the entry of more Italian businesses, the volumes would grow even more.
The Italian Cuisine Week was organized by the Italian Trade Agency and the Embassy of Italy to promote and celebrate Italy's rich culinary and wine cultures, as well as provide an opportunity for Ghanaians to savor the rich and quality taste of Italian wines.
Well, the trade volumes, notwithstanding the COVID pandemics, are quite important, because last year in 2021, the total volume reached €500 million, and we hope that it will increase. And in fact, the embassy and the trade agency have been supporting trade missions of Ghanaian companies to the most important fairs in Italy, including in the vegetable and fruit sector. And so far, some 30 companies and over 80 Ghanaian businessmen have traveled to Italy. And at the same time, at the end of November, we expect 20 companies from Italy to come here in Ghana to take part in the Print Plus Pack and Agro-Food Fair in Accra and to meet with their counterparts. So it will be more business opportunities for Italians and for Ghanaians for a mutually beneficial partnership.
For his part, director of the Italian Trade Agency, Alejandro Garabino, said the night sought to provide an ideal opportunity for both countries to strengthen trade relations, as Italy, a leader in fashion, design, food and many other creative sectors, has much as to offer Ghana.
I'm very grateful to all our guests. Most of the guests here are companies, are the business people we are working with, and the minister couldn't say it better. This is an opportunity to strengthen our relationships and taking advantage of a good ambience and the possibility of tasting wines that aren't available in Ghana until now, and others that are already here.
The 7th Italian Cuisine Week was on the theme conviviality, sustainability, and innovation, the ingredients of Italian cuisine to keep us healthy and protect the planet.
And that's the business. Stay tuned. Sports is coming up next.
Welcome back from the break. Time for us to bring you sports. And Mishael is here with the latest. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. The World Cup is still on.
Okay.
Argentina, Saudi Arabia, halftime at the moment. The Argentinians are up by 1-0. They could have been up by 4, but the Saudis are playing an incredibly high line. They've been able to catch the Argentinians out 7 times in just the first half. By the 32nd minute in the first half, it was about 4. And Messi
was about 4 what short
half times, 4 offsides.
Okay.
By 32nd, 31st minutes. After 45 minutes, about 7. Messi scored once from an offside. Lautaro Martinez scored twice from an offside. And now, although they go into the break with a 1-0 lead, obviously they'll be left frustrated and disappointed because, I mean, the Saudis are just finding a way to stay in the game.
You know, the Saudis are being coached by a technical, someone who is really good.
Hervé Renard.
Exactly. People know him with Zambia.
And Ivory Coast. He also went to Lille and he has had some stints in Europe as well. So I'm not surprised with the way the Saudis are playing because if you look at the way the other Arab countries are playing in Qatar and Iran, this Saudi team have been very good. They've posed levels of threat to Argentina. And actually, as I said earlier, I'm not surprised. I think that level of coaching is really paying dividends for them at the moment.
Thank you very much.
But on Joy Prime at 7 p.m. today, there's going to be the game live broadcast, France versus Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it for sports. That's how we conclude the bulletin today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace to enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good morning. Okay.
Of course.